Hey guys, it's Christy. So I'm here with card number 8 in my holiday card series, and today I'm going to be using this MFT stamp set called Cool Day with these adorable polar bears. If you follow my channel, you know that polar bears are my favorite animal. I just love them, and they're great for this time of year when things are chilly. So I'm going to be using the stamps and dies for this, and also I'm going to use the bundled up 6x6 pattern paper by Cartabella. This is the collection by Alicia Gordon, and it's just a really great wintry color palette, not only for Christmas but all throughout the winter season. So I am going to go ahead and begin. So I've gone ahead and die cut and stamped my images because these are the solid die cuts from MFT. They look like this. And so you have to die cut first and then stamp the images, and I have to get really over my images to be able to see. This bear took me 3 tries because I'm just not good at that before I got one that was lined up right. So I went ahead and did that off camera so we could begin with our coloring. So I'm going to go ahead and set these things aside and zoom in for you, and we'll get started. Alright, so let's get going here. I'm going to be using a piece of pattern paper with these mittens on it. So I'm using this to choose my color palettes for this card. So I'm going to begin by coloring my bear. And actually in this pattern there is some brown tones in some of these mittens. So I decided to use my TN1 and 2 for my polar bears. As you guys know, I'm sure, polar bears are not completely white. They kind of actually have a little bit of a yellowish tint or beige tint to some of their fur. And so these TN1 and 2 markers are going to really do well for, you know, a polar bear's fur. So I'm just giving him a little bit of shading around the outside. I don't want it too brown, so we'll just shade here where there'd be any shadows. Alright, there's the TN1. I'm going to bring in some TN2 to darken a little bit of that up. But like I said, I want to keep it pretty soft, and this is a much bolder color, so I'm really going to use it sparingly. So under his scarf here, under his arm, on the outside of his arms to keep him, you know, nice and rounded because he's a nice little pudgy polar bear. Okay, that's good. Then I'm going to take my TN1 again, and we'll just blend that TN2 out a little bit, make it a little softer. Just eliminating any of those harsh lines. So how are you guys coming with your holiday cards? Have you guys got them just about done? Or are you still working on them like me? I'm going and softening that even further with my Colorless Wonder. I just sent out a big stack of them yesterday, so I have most of mine in the mail at this point, which is really good. I'm usually way far behind. I still have about a dozen more cards to make, but I decided to go ahead and ship the ones I had since I did have a lot of international people that I was sending to. So I decided to go ahead and get those going, and then just send out the last dozen, you know, as I finish those up, which I hope to do this weekend and have those in the mail by Monday. So I'm really happy about that. Alright, so there's our polar bear's fur. We're going to move on to his little scarf here, and we're going to do that in 2 shades of blue and a red. And I think I will start with red on the outside. So I'm going to go ahead and get my DR3 out here. We'll skip and do every third one. Just get that nice and filled in. And then we'll do, well, let's do this one right here. Since the fabric will be wrapped up underneath the rest of his scarf, you know, you can really pick up the pattern wherever you want. Nobody's going to know any different. Just darkening this up with some DR6 around the edges. And then going back with my DR3 to just blend that out. Alright, now we're going to move to TB4 and 5. We'll do this one right here. I may have to speed parts of this video up just because I do have 3 pieces to color, so I don't want to keep it too long. I know a lot of you guys like to watch the coloring, but you know, there is such a thing as too long on videos, so and we'll do this one here. Alright, so I'm going to darken that up with TB5. Mostly just sticking to the edges here and any place that the artist has drawn in some areas to shade. And then we'll go to BT2 and 3 for our lighter blue here. And that should match really nicely with our pattern paper. I'm going to give him just a regular red hat since this is a Christmas card. Using those same DR3 and DR6 rather than the white brim to keep it matching with his scarf. I'll do a blue, the light blue here. And I'll take some PP1 and just fill in his little ears right there real quick. Alright, so our polar bear is done. For the iceberg, I'm just going to do a really quick color. I use the brush nib here. Just add some soft blue from the edges of all these angles here. And we'll just add a little bit here and there on the iceberg, not too much, just to keep it looking frosty. So, and then I'm going to grab my colorless blender and just soften some of that up. That ought to be good. And then all we have left is our little sign here. I'm just going to do a red and white stripe pull here. Take the BT2 just a little bit for the white portions here, not too much of it. And I'll also add some color to our snow with that to match our iceberg. To keep it kind of the same color palette, we'll go in with our TBs. For the sign, I'm going to go back to our TN1 and 2 and just bring those colors back in that I used on our polar bear. So we'll do that. TN1. Highlight right under the snow with the TN2. A little bit along the edges here. And we'll just blend that out so that'll almost look like a lighter wood, which works well for a sign. Alright, so I've got some ultra smooth premium white cardstock here folded into a standard size top folding card, and then I've got my piece of pattern paper here that we were using. So I'm going to go ahead and round the corners of that. I'm using the 1/2 inch setting on my We Are Memory Keepers corner chomper. I'm also going to chomp my card. And then I've got 2 pieces of pattern paper here, and I am going to chomp one side of each of those. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and adhere this piece down to our card. Just pull out my ETG here. There we are. Now I'm going to take this red and blue piece, and they're going to go on the front of our card like this. So I'll go ahead and add some adhesive on there. Okay. And then I've got my red piece, and that one is going to go right across from it over here. Just thought that would be a little bit of a different design. I can trim off the excess from those pieces. I've got some silver sparkle lawn trimmings that I'm going to go ahead and tie around our card. And I'm just going to tie that into a bow right over here. Just get my string straight. And then we can add a little bit of foam tape. I'm going to cut that thinner so that I can put it on either side of my ribbon there. Okay, I'm just going to center that. Okay, get our sign up here. This off to the side a bit. I'm not going to push that down all the way until I get my polar bear where I want him. And then we'll get our polar bear situated. And then I can just take any kind of liquid adhesive and just dab a little bit to the pieces that are not stuck down with the foam tape. Okay, and I'll just set an acrylic block on those to hold those down until they dry. And last but not least, I've got some Pretty Pink Posh sequins here in both the sparkling clear and the marshmallow, and that's the 6 and 4 millimeter size. And I'm just going to add a bit of that multi-matte medium to go ahead and secure that to the front of our card. And that completes our card for today. I hope you guys enjoyed, and thank you so much for watching. Bye-bye.